All right, we'll get started. Wanted to first off thank you for attending this month's monthly briefing here. My name is Nolan Perrin, and I'm the program manager here at Safe Abroad. Today we'll be covering some of the most impactful events affecting study abroad programs and traveler safety. I'll be joined by several of our fellow analysts here. They'll go ahead and introduce themselves as they go through. We will hold some time at the end for any questions you may have. But with that being said, we'll get started. Friendly reminder that this event does count towards your continuing education hours for any of Safe Abroad's certifications. We offer three main certifications with several specializations as well. You can access and log your recertification hours here using the QR code. And with that being said, we'll start getting into some of these events.
Hi all, I'm Kira Andrews and I am the Operations Manager here at Safe Abroad. Here on the left-hand side, you are able to see some of the events that we will be talking about today. We will cover some events that took place in the last month, along with covering some events that are happening in the upcoming month of August. On the right-hand side, you can also see some of the reports the Intel staff have worked on recently. We've got reports such as the typhoon season outlook in China, summer festival risks for study abroad programs, and along with the disruptions to study abroad programs following the Peruvian election that has not long occurred. You are able to access these reports through our website under the Intelligence tab through the Reports category. On July 20th, millions of people gathered in Spain's capital, Madrid, to greet the 2026 World Cup champion team. The men's Spanish national team beat the reigning champions Argentina on July 19th in a closely congested 1-0 victory in the second half of overtime. Following the win, the team flew back to Spain and were greeted with approximately 2 million fans in the country's capital, prompting streets to be shut down along the planned route and impacted travel as the crowd stretched across the city to celebrate the nation's victory. The team, consisting of 26 players, coaches, and other members of the club, made their way across the city in an open-top bus parade, meeting the royal family and other high-profile individuals. This win was very important to the country as the team and people of Spain are very passionate about the sport and expressed this by taking to the streets to express their passion. Safe abroad travellers were advised to expect delays when travelling, and they were also advised to anticipate heightened security and maintain situation awareness.
Hello, everyone. My name is Gabriella Hoover, and I'm an intelligence analyst here at Safe Abroad. I'd like to take some time to talk about the elevated wildfire risk that swept across southwestern Europe this July, and particularly about some of the large-scale fires that were contained but continuing near Bordeaux, France, and Madrid, Spain. On July 22nd, wildfires in Samas, France, advanced 18 miles outside of Bordeaux and burned around 80,000 acres despite extensive firefighting efforts. Around 167,000 residents were evacuated as a result of the spreading flames. For Spain, on July 24th, the Spanish government declared a national emergency for Madrid and Avila after merged wildfires burned nearly 50,000 acres, displaced around 60,000 people, and caused one fatality. Nationwide in Spain, more than 300,000 acres had burned by late July, over 6 times the area affected in the same period in 2025. By the end of July, the European Forest Fire Information System estimated that over 70,000 acres, or 700,000 acres burned in France and Spain thus far, and approximately 300,000 total residents were evacuated from France and Spain. Throughout July, Safe Abroad analysts reported 30 wildfire incidents and counting, with 83% of those reports localized in Europe. Safe abroad travelers were advised to expect localized evacuations, smoke-related air quality impacts, and to monitor directives from authorities. All right, the next event I will be discussing is the Tenjin Matsuri Festival that occurred from July 24th to the 25th and brought more than 1 million attendees to the Osaka Tenmangu Shrine in Japan. The annual celebration honors the deity of scholarship, Sugawara Michizane, and featured massive land and boat processions, firework displays, and traditional celebrations centered around the shrine. The scale of the event prompted extensive road closures and vehicle restrictions around the Osaka Tenmangu Shrine, the Okawa River, and the Sakurano-miya Bridge, while the city's metro system experienced a sharp increase in passenger numbers, particularly on the JR Tozai line and Osaka Loop line. Despite this congestion, authorities managed to safely run the event, and no notable incidents were reported. Safe abroad travelers were advised to expect delays when traveling and maintain heightened situational awareness in crowded areas.
On July 25th, an extremist carried out a vehicle ramming and knife attack on the outskirts of Berlin's Christopher Street Day Pride celebration. The attack killed one person and injured 29 others before the suspect fled, prompting a nationwide manhunt. Authorities later identified the suspect as a 21-year-old German national previously known to security services for Islamist extremism. He was fatally shot by police the following day after confronting officers while armed. The attack triggered a large-scale security response across Berlin. Police locked down parts of Tiergarten area, suspended portions of the Pride celebrations, and expanded security around the major public gathering sites and transport hubs. Safe abroad travelers were advised to avoid crowded areas and to maintain situational awareness. Travelers were also advised to expect police presence, enhanced security screening, and delays near major transport hubs.
Hello, everyone. My name is Eric Llamas. I'm an intel analyst here at Safe Abroad. I'm going to move over to Colombia, more specifically Medellin, where Feria de las Flores will take place from July 31st to August 9th. It's currently ongoing within Medellin in the Antioquia department of Colombia. The event is expected to attract over 2 million attendees across its 10-day span, with an estimated 55,000 international attendee count by the local government. Feria de las Flores aims to transform Medellin into a colorful city with parades, concerts, folkloric events, in Parque del Rio, and its most anticipated flower exhibition known as El Desfile de Silleteros along Avenida Regional. As you can see here about the picture, that is what the Desfile de Silleteros will look like. With an expected attendance of over 2 million, the event will cause travel delays through Avenida Regional. Moreover, due to the large crowds, pickpocketing and theft are likely to occur throughout the event. Safe abroad travelers are advised to plan ahead for travel delays and comply well with all security directives if attending the event. Moving on to Seoul in South Korea, we're going to cover the Hangang River Summer Festival, which is expected to bring over 10 million attendees to the Hangang River. The Hangang River Festival will take place August 1st through the 16th across 9 major Hangang River parks in Seoul, with key venues including Mangwon, Jamsil, Yanghwa, and Nanji. As mentioned, over 10 million participants will attend, which makes Seoul Seoul's busiest summer events. And over the course of these 16 days, the festival will feature 18 programs under the theme of the closest and most refreshing getaway. And among this theme, there will be different activities like boat making and racing, traditional Korean slackline performances, paddleboard marathons, waterside DJ festival, and a jazz performance and drone shows along the Han River. So due to the large crowds and large amount of expected participants, travelers should expect travel delays as well as traffic disruptions. Overall, the high foot traffic will cause stress on public transportations, as well as heightened security will be in place throughout the festival. Safe abroad travelers are advised, once again, to expect delays, remain vigilant, and as well as follow all security directives instituted by local officials.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Delaney Russell, and I'm an intelligence analyst here with Safe Abroad. The Edinburgh Film Festival Fringe, taking place this year from August 7th to 31st, is the world's largest performing arts festival and one of the most significant annual cultural events in Scotland. Each August, thousands of performers travel to Edinburgh to present theater, comedy, music, dance, circus, cabaret, and other live performances across hundreds of venues throughout the city. The Fringe is widely recognized as a launchpad for emerging talent while also featuring established performers and productions. More than 3,600 shows have already been announced, ranging from ticketed productions in traditional theaters to free street entertainment along the Royal Mile and other public spaces. The festival attracts 1 million visitors annually, making it one of the busiest periods of the year for the city. High pedestrian volumes, heavy traffic congestion, crowded public transportation, and increased demand for accommodation should be expected for the festival period, particularly in Edinburgh's Old Town. Additionally, Prentice Street in Old Town is partially closed until the end of August. This closure will impact pedestrian and vehicle travel, especially travelers coming from the Edinburgh airport. Safe Abroad travelers are advised to book accommodations and transportation well in advance, allow extra time for travel throughout the city, remain alert in crowded areas, and to monitor official Edinburgh Festival Fringe communications and local authorities' communications for the latest updates. And then from August 14th to 16th, Summer Sonic, one of Japan's largest music festivals, will occur. During the long weekend, it's expected that 300,000 people will attend various performances across 2 cities. In total, the festival spans 3 venues, including Makuhari Messa and Zozo Marine Stadium in Chiba, located about 30 miles outside of Tokyo, and in Osaka at Mishima Sonic Park. The festival will open each day at 10:10 a.m. and day performances will continue until 9:40 p.m. across 11 indoor and outdoor stages. Beginning at 10:30 p.m. on August 14th and 11 p.m. on August 15th, Chiba will host midnight song performances separate from the day program until 5 a.m. Upon entry, guests will go through security screening as the festival prohibits weapons, umbrellas, and any liquid other than water in a sealed bottle. Loitering and camping outside the venue is strictly prohibited. Despite heightened security measures, past festivals have seen minor fights and instances of petty crime. Local public transportation infrastructure will experience an influx of traffic as there is no festival parking and local roads have been closed to prevent drop-off and pickup. In Chiba, the Kahin Makuhari Station will be the key access point for the festival. In Osaka, roads between Cosmo Square Station and Mishima Sonic Park will be closed to allow for the provision of shuttle buses for festival goers. Safe Abroad travelers are advised to plan additional time for travel on local public transportation during the festival weekend and to confirm routes are not impacted by road closures before setting out. Travelers attending the festival are advised to remain diligent and hydrate well. Thank you.
The Lowlands Music Festival, officially named a Camp Fighting Lowlands Paradise, is a 3-day multi-genre event that will take place from August 21st to August 23rd. The festival is being held in Biddinghausen at the Wallaby Holland Events Ground, 42 miles east of Amsterdam and adjacent to the Wallaby Hollands Amusement Park. The event is expected to draw over 65,000 attendees and features over 200 acts, mainly focused on music, including rock, pop, dance, and hip hop, but also offers indoor and outdoor cinema, street theatre, cabaret, stand-up comedy, ballet, and literature discussions. Public transportation will experience an increased congestion, causing transit delays, especially around 7 and 11 p.m. when the main stage performances are scheduled to start and end. Congestion is likely to be intense around the Lelystad Centrum station, which is nearest the festival. The heightened security presence is also expected around the event. Safe Abroad travelers are advised to reconfirm travel plans if passing near or around the festival, and travelers should also exercise increased caution if attending the festival or staying nearby.
Hello, everyone. My name is Ethan Rosenblum. I'm an intelligence analyst here at Safe Abroad. For this event, Vuelta a España, will take place across Spain, France, Monaco, and Andorra from August 22nd to September 13th, with large crowds and travel disruptions expected along the race route. The race is the final cycling grand tour of the year and spans approximately 2,000 miles across 21 stages. Unlike a single sporting event, the race moves through multiple cities over 3 weeks with road closures, pedestrian congestion, and increased demand on public transportation expected in host communities throughout the event. Because the race moves from city to city each day, the associated traffic and security impacts also shift throughout the event, affecting multiple communities rather than a single location. In 2025, the participation of an Israeli cycling team attracted large pro-Palestinian demonstrations that disrupted several stages of the race. Protesters clashed with riot police, leading organizers to shorten multiple stages and cancel the final podium ceremony. Although the Israeli team has since rebranded and the 2026 route differs from last year's race, renewed demonstrations remain possible because the underlying geopolitical tensions persist. Travelers should continue to anticipate localized disruptions and heightened security, particularly in larger host cities. Safe abroad travelers are advised to plan travel routes in advance, avoid closed roads and high congestion areas near the race, and monitor local media for updates. Travelers should also avoid all protests and demonstrations and follow instructions issued by local authorities. For the next one, La Tomatina will take place in Buñol, Spain on August 26 at 12 p.m., with large crowds and travel disruptions expected. The annual festival attracts thousands of visitors to the small city of Buñol, including many international travelers who come specifically to participate in the event. The festival originated in 1945 following an impromptu tomato fight during a local parade and has since developed into one of Spain's most internationally recognized celebrations. La Tomatina is an annual festival where participants gather in central Buñol for a large-scale tomato fight lasting from 12 p.m. to 1 p.m. Attendance is limited to approximately 22,000 participants, creating significant crowding and the potential for crowd surges throughout the city center. Access to Plaza del Pueblo will be restricted beginning around 7 a.m., and increased demand on public transportation is likely as attendees travel to and from the festival. Beyond these travel impacts, the close quarters nature of the tomato fight creates additional safety concerns as participants are surrounded by dense crowds while tomatoes are thrown throughout the event. The streets can also become extremely slippery, increasing the risk of falls and other minor injuries. Safe abroad travelers are advised to maintain enhanced situational awareness and exercise caution. Those attending the festival should be particularly cautious in dense crowds and slippery areas, plan transportation in advance, and follow instructions issued by event staff and local authorities.
Hi, everyone. My name is David Simsak, and I'm an intelligence analyst here at Safe Abroad. So, August 28th in Indonesia will mark a 1 year anniversary since the death of Afan Kurniawan, who was a 21-year-old motorcycle taxi driver who was killed by a police tactical unit during a demonstration in Jakarta last year. The incident escalated into localized protests, into nationwide unrest that reached over 100 different Indonesian urban centers and left at least 10 people dead and resulted in thousands of detentions. So the 2025 wave of protests began on August 25th with a student march to the Indonesian House of Representatives and spread all throughout the country. August 31st also marks the expiry date of a 1 year deadline attached to an eight long-term demands for something called the 17+8 reform platform, which is essentially a document and series of demands consolidated from over 200 different civil society organizations, calling for reform of the Indonesian House of Representatives, the police system, the tax system, and many other things. Most of those demands have remained unfulfilled. So as of right now, no mass action has been explicitly called for by protesters, but most experts, as well as local media, expect large-scale protests to take place. The only real question is the scale of those protests and the exact dates. This is especially likely given that throughout the year, there have been student protests within Indonesia over things like fuel prices, budget cuts, and expanded military involvement. Many of those protests have involved large security and police responses, as well as clashes. So as of right now, we are expecting large-scale protests in Indonesia, but we believe August 28th and August 31st to be the main flashpoints. So safe abroad travelers are advised to avoid all demonstrations and the areas surrounding the Indonesian House of Representatives complex, Polda Metro Jaya, and the Bundaran between around August 25th and September 5th, but especially on August 28th and August 31st, if at all possible, and to allow additional travel time along the Jalan Gatot Subroto in the event of major protest mobilizations. Travelers should also monitor local media and or their host institution communications and generally avoid photographing security forces or the demonstrations due to high risk of escalation.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Caroline Gross, and I will be discussing the Notting Hill Carnival, which will occur in London, United Kingdom from August 29th to the 31st. As Europe's largest street festival, the event is expected to draw between 1.5 to 2 million visitors over the bank holiday weekend. The event is organized to celebrate British Caribbean culture, highlighting the music, cuisine, and traditions steeped in British Caribbean heritage. The festival will feature a steel band competition, up to 50 masquerade or moss bands, elaborate costumes, multiple parades, over 30 sound systems, and a moment of reflection. In past years, multiple arrests and scattered violence have occurred during the festivities, so heightened security is expected across major festival locations throughout the weekend. Safe abroad travelers are advised to keep phones and wallets secure, abide by all official directives, share the location status with family and friends, and exercise enhanced situational awareness.
And that brings us to the end of today's presentation. On the screen there, you can see several of the services we offer here at Safe Abroad, ranging from professional development, including certifications and staff training, to intelligence services such as global incident monitoring, and also producing longer form requests for intelligence. As previously stated, we will hold on for a few minutes to answer any questions you may have had about either the presentation or any incidents or ongoing challenges to your study abroad program that we might be able to help with. So we will stay on for the next few minutes. And if not, have a great rest of your Wednesday.